Hello people, welcome to another edition of A Dose of Drew with a little unboxing here and something that, and as well as it's not really a review, but it's just to go through it because have used several strops before. Don't expect this one to be hugely different. We want to make sure that we give it its due. All right, couple of things first. This is a Hutsuls. This is actually designed for artisans. I want to make sure that I put it in here. It's New Britain, Connecticut, but it is made in Ukraine. Okay, Slava Ukraini. So yeah, even though it is an American designed product, it is made in the Ukraine. So you're definitely supporting some folks if you purchase this. A couple of things on top of that. Want to give this an opening. It is a buffalo strop, to my understanding. We'll see what it is here in a minute. Wonderful step-by-step guide how to use a leather strap. Thanks, I got one. Oh, some green. The green looks like chromium oxide crayon. Nice. I don't use it. For those who are wondering, this is very smooth. That's a fairly thick. It is hard. Hard, almost, it's like boiled leather. That is a really, really hard leather. If anyone's wondering about that, here, we'll just make that real easy for you. Yes, happens when you sharpen stuff. All right, so a couple of things. I do have other strops. This is not the first one, just to give anyone an idea. I have some right here. This is a 2 micron, 5 micron, half micron, 0.3 micron chromium. So I do have strops, but one of the most important things with that is that sometimes it just isn't there. Like this, the other one is the 5 micron, often considered a 5K or 5,000 grit, is a sueded side. And at 5 micron, the suede is really, really nice. It holds a lot of diamonds. I use Tech Diamond Tools 50% high concentration. I call this 5,000 grit. It is 5 micron. And that is one of the things that I think why I wanted to purchase this particular strop, is it is relatively thick. It's got good solid leather, lots of stuff to go in there. But I wanted to get a smoother surface for the 5 micron. This is often all the further I go on a lot of stuff. It's just once you've done something like a Work Sharp regular Precision Pro, right? You've got this thing goes up to like an 800 grit, and then you've got a 22,000 to 2,500 grit ceramic stuff. So the next point up is going to be something like this. It's one of those things. There's a lot of stuff when it comes to microns and grits. It's not the same. There's a little bit changing, but here's the basics for, I have a few things that I like to remember. 120 grit is 120 micron, just about there. 600 grit is about 24, 25 micron. The rest are kind of fun little relationships. So 900 grit is about 12 micron, 1200 grit is about 9 micron, 4000 grit is about 6 micron, 6000 grit is about 4 micron. The Japanese system takes 1 micron at 8,000 grit. The way most other ones I have is about 2 grit is 8,000, or 2 micron is 8,000 grit. 12 to 14,000 grit is about 1 micron, and then 50K or 50,000 grit is about half a micron, and so on. 100,000 grit is about 1 micron, 0.1 micron, a tenth of a micron, or a quarter of a micron, depending upon which one you go. But those things that go in there are the ways I remember it. 120 grit, and it's 120 micron. 600 grit is about 24 or 25 microns. Again, 900 grit is 12 micron. 1200 grit is 9 micron. 4000 grit is 6 micron. 6000 grit is 4 micron, and then you go up from there. Those are the places I like to remember. It gives you nice little relationships that make it easy to remember. But also, if you've ever looked at some places like Knife Steel Nerds, and you look at the things they do when it comes to the micrographs and stuff, and you look at the thing, those are usually 20 micron bars. And so you have a lot of the carbides and stuff are right around between 1 and 5 microns on a lot of the powder metallurgy steels. And on ones that aren't, where you start looking at things that are like 154 cm instead of CPM 154, even though you can get really, really fine grain with proper heat treatment, or you get something like regular D2 instead of CPM D2, you start getting carbides that are actually larger than that 5 micron bit, where you have things like your strop is actually, that higher grit is actually not just polishing, but actually cutting the carbides. There is often a lot of silicon dioxide, or as we like to say, sand or quartz, in a lot of leathers, and horse leather. Horsehide is often much more. I do believe that buffalo leather offers a fair amount of silicon in it as well. But with this being what it is, I want to see what I can do about loading it up here on camera, just to give, for anyone who's freaking out about my technique, tough tooties cuties. Now, let's see how this goes. All right. So for anyone who's wondering, I use mineral oil to help spread that stuff around. If I can find mine. Where did it go? When you don't have stuff ready. All right. All right, so just a little bit of mineral oil. You can use baby oil on leather. It has some things like vitamin E. I use food safe cutting board mineral oil, but it's really just a matter of thinning out that paste, especially when you have a 50% count. I use my finger because I like it that way. And then we got all this. All right, don't even need this thing. This is super smooth and it does a great job all by itself. That didn't take a whole lot of oil. I'm gonna try and get some of this stuff down. I use my finger to smooth it out. This is the coverage it is. That paste is 50% diamonds of a 5 micron or smaller. It's a mesh, so it's actually going to be like probably between a 4.5 and 5.5 micron at this size, maybe a little bit less depending on the percentage. Might even be like a 10%, so it's only 0.05. Relatively small depending upon how they do their mesh. Anytime you have a mesh, if it's not round particles, you're going to get different size stuff. So it is what it is. But there we go. Fairly well covered. Smooth it out a little more. All right, there we go. There's my brand new diamond strop set up with 5 micron paste. Again, I use Tech Diamond tools. It's usually for sale on places like Amazon and stuff. I've had really good results with it. They have 10% diamonds, 25% diamonds, and 50% diamonds. So if you have a hard time spreading the 50%, you don't have mineral or something like that, you can go down to the 25%. I have had very good luck with the 25%. It's a thinner paste, so it's easier to smooth out without the oil. But the 50% gives you twice as much diamonds, and a little bit of oil makes it go a long way. So seems to be really good. I don't have time to let this dry out on camera and then use it, but this has been easy. This was one of the easier strops I've ever had to load. The smoothness of the leather was great. I don't see any problems. The leather is slightly smaller than the block. Silicone nubs, little silicone drops on there, keep it on there. It's a pretty straightforward block. I mean, there isn't anything fancy about it, but it is actually solid wood too. You can see the grain. That isn't MDF or anything like that, which may or may not be good to some people. Some people may not like that it's regular wood because regular wood can swell a lot easier when it gets wet, but it also doesn't tend to lose the glue when it does. So there we go, you guys. The Hutsuls strop. Very, very nice. That thick. I believe you can find this on Amazon, some other place, but It's a very, very good strop, thick buffalo leather on there, and American designed and Ukraine made. So I'm going to go ahead and end it right there. This was an unboxing, not a full review, but if you guys have ever used a strop, it's really not, I mean, unless this thing starts falling apart, there's really not much else to say. This is a pretty good deal here, and it takes diamond or other loading super easy. Very, very good hard leather, thick, lots of life in it. Yeah, well done. Really good. I'm glad I got this. And of course, I like to help the Ukraine as much as possible. And as long as we're helping those people keep themselves alive and keep themselves going, they can keep fighting. Slava Ukraini. And this is a really great strop, you guys. So if you get a chance, do it. I highly recommend it. And of course, any questions or anything like that on when it comes to the stuff, or you guys have any comments about what you use, I'd love to hear what you guys use in the comments down below. On how you guys strop and what you like to use as far as like diamond paste or anything like that. There's diamond emulsions, all sorts of stuff that is out there. I kind of like the pastes, but the emulsions I know a lot of people like. I've never used the emulsions. So if you have an experience with emulsions and stuff, please put it down below. I very rarely go below the 0.5 micron, mostly because I know most of this is going to be hand. I can't keep my hands a 0.5 micron steady. 5 microns pretty hard as it is. So it doesn't, if you're keeping a straight, a more continuously straight edge, it is about what this will do. What it polishes. I know it's not completely about how steady your hand is, but it is also how steady that blade is when it's on the abrasive. And how even those two surfaces mate is very much about how apexing and abrasion works. So there is some truth to it, as well as not completely, because you're not doing enough for it to always matter if you're only stropping a few strokes. That being said, you guys, again, want to hear what you guys use, you guys' sharpening stuff. If you want more, I've had a couple of comments about sharpening and different stuff, so there's going to be some more sharpening content coming, both theory of sharpening as well as how I do it on some of my own personal edges. Where you have things, let's see if I can pull one out here, where you have things like this D2 Kershaw that I have basically stropped down to a 0 edge with a convex edge. I do that by hand. So yeah, get some of those out there, how it goes, different types of sharpening techniques and all that stuff. By all means, I like to hand sharpen. I do have the precision adjust for most of my pocket knives because I don't like sharpening smaller blades. And even though some of them don't sit so well in the precision adjust itself, there's a lot there. All right, ending this up, Hutsuls, good strop, supporting Ukraine and Ukrainian artisans and workers here by doing so, as well as an American design place. So yeah, if you guys get a chance, check out Hutsuls. They make good strop. You can find them on Amazon. This has been your dose of Drew. Go ahead and take this video, watch it twice, comment as much as you like, be mindful of side effects. Remember to like and subscribe. I am said Drew, and you guys have a great rest of your night.